It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
Hey now, the Pete Sousa Show. We are live in Manhattan, Kansas. That's right. Keisha Lopez is calling me. I'll call her back. That's my former co-anchor on KWTX News 10. And Keisha's the kind of person, if I answered the phone and she was, like her voice was on live airwaves, like she might consider a lawsuit. So we'll hang on for that. She'd be like, oh my God, why am I live right now? I feel like violated. So I love Keisha. She's like a sister. We're in Manhattan, Kansas. Let me go back to my radio voice. Hey guys, we're live in Manhattan, Kansas. Let me tell you something. I walked outside. It's so cold out. I saw a dog and he was connected through urine ice to a telephone pole. Except those are wood, so that never happened. So we're presented by Slovakics. And we have Kansas State and UCF tonight. Big game, big opportunity for both of these schools because UCF is having their best season since 2019. And it's a season that Johnny Dawkins was in need of overall from just a body of work standpoint at UCF. And they play Kansas State tonight, like I mentioned. And it's a Kansas State team who is 0-3 for the first time in conference play since 2021. And, Jerome Tang, he had that first year where he took the Wildcats to the Elite Eight and really was like a play away from the Final Four. And has just been unable to recapture that magic. And he's got it in him, and he always brings in players that are good. That's the one thing, Kansas State is the embodiment of what some alumni around the country are working through right now. It's okay. We have put up a lot of money to get these big time players into our program, and we've been unable to take advantage of that. PJ Haggerty is the guy this year that is a reflection of that, right? He led the nation in scoring for most of the year. And now I think, is like 6th or 7th. He's certainly cooled off. They're a fun team to watch because they get up and down the floor. But, at 9 and 7, that's not getting it done. Jerome Tang will be the first one to tell you that. So, but things can turn around. I mean, it's early in the season, and I do want to start with Big 12 basketball. We are presented, by the way, by Slovacic's. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, a part of this process. Socorro Family Ford, thank you so much for being a part of this. Crawford Austin Properties, the list goes on. I want to talk about the Big 12 and quickly tap into what we saw last night and how that connects to my first point. Baylor with a huge win last night on the road against a frisky Oklahoma State team so far this year, right? Like UCF had an 11-game winning streak, and it was snapped by Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is much better this year, and although they're not like a top 25 contender, they're a problem. Like Oklahoma State now is that typical Big 12 road game. And you're not going to play Kansas, right? You're not going to play Iowa State, but you're not going out to Utah, right? Which is like Utah can be a tough trip, but that's a win. Right now, I think you circle that as a win on your schedule. I know Alex Jensen is there and they've turned things over, but that process is still in the development phase. The Big 12 is not a place where you can hide out and find easy wins. And now there's one less easy win on the schedule with Oklahoma State, just being a tougher opponent, right? There's more people in Gallagher-Iba Arena this year than there have been in the past year or two. And there's a rejuvenated excitement around that program. So that speaks to Baylor's effort last night. And, man, how badly did they need that win? I mean, they really needed some momentum, a breath of fresh air. Call it what you want. Tunde Yesufu has 20 points, his 6th 20-plus point performance. And that is a guy who we have not talked about much, even on this show, and we're kind of like ground zero. And I've seen Tunde Yesufu play probably 6 or 7 times this year. And although he's like certainly a compelling player, he has not taken over. Cam Carr has done most of the taking over, air quotes, for that team. And I think it's important to notice that. Okay. A new guy's coming into the studio to observe. Is coming into your studio?
Well, yeah. Our studio. Just see how the show goes. We got training going on here at Rogue Media Network.
In your place?
Well, he's gonna just be behind and watching it, like to kind of see how.
Is it Brandon?
It works. Yeah, how it works.
Brandon. All right. What's up, Brandon? From the
not in yet.
Bay Area. Is he in here now?
Not yet. No.
Cam sends me a note. New guy.
Well, I don't want you to see that
new guy
someone is entering the studio
to observe. Hold on. New guy is coming into the studio to observe. No biggie. Cam's in his goddamn apartment in Boston. I'm in a hotel room here in Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas. I mean, is he going to be knocking on my door? Am I going to see him over your shoulder?
No, but you're going to see that he's entered our StreamYard studio. And,
So don't
and
freak out.
this is on me. Yep, because you're more of a pro than I am. If I saw that, I'd be like, what's going on? Am I supposed to be talking to somebody right now?
No.
That's why I did it. That's why I did it, Pete. Sorry.
You're the best, Cam. I'm loving this relationship already with Cam. Hey, Cam, so hold on.
Yeah.
You are, I mean, look, man, you have I promised I wouldn't say the name of the show anymore, so I won't.
No free rides. No free rides.
You are the host of a particular Baylor podcast, and you obviously did a post game last night. What are your thoughts on their win? How badly did they need it? Did you see play that you believe could carry them through the rest of this Big 12 slate, or was that a one-off? Like maybe Oklahoma State isn't as good as I'm letting on.
Oh, I don't know if it's a one-off, but it's a good night. It's a good night. Like, what did we say the other day? I was like, man, this still isn't the only part of the game, but like they don't have many shooters. And Houston dared him to shoot, and it worked for about 8 minutes. And then by the second media timeout, that gravy train was gone. But the shots were going in last night. That was a huge part of it. And what I loved about the stretch run of it was they had a 24-point lead go down to 11. That's not the part that I love. But in years past, we have seen Baylor teams really try to shorten the game. I'm talking like the last 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Really try to shorten the game at the end and really getting out of their offense, and it looks bad. And they blew a lot of leads that way. And in this game last night, it's not the shots weren't really falling at that point, the 3-point shots, but they just stayed really aggressive. Like that's almost a team that didn't know any better. Like they don't know how to shorten the game. You know, when you had All-Americans, they could do that. And it obviously worked against them a lot. But Tunde was aggressive throughout. I thought he played awesome last night, both ends of the floor. And they stayed aggressive. And that's what it takes. They used their height advantage big time in both halves, which is, again, not something they've had a lot the last couple of years. And I didn't think would be a huge advantage for them at times this year. But I think they used it, not just with a Caden Powell, but with Mikey Ratai on the offensive glass. That's how they're going to win games, offensive glass.
That was James Nagy. Okay.
Like a guy who joined a team midseason. Like still, he doesn't seem like he's caught up exactly. And I totally get that. Here we are. It's like 2 weeks in. He hasn't played basketball all season long. But this is probably where he should be level wise.
What's the Dan Skilling's timeline?
So it sounds like we got some good news out of it. Like he was there and on the sideline and chest bumping guys yesterday, which I didn't do after my concussions. So I that sounds good in terms of, you know, his health and at least how he's getting out there and feeling. So what I am hearing is good sign. Obviously going to take some precautions here, but that it's not like this crazy bad, he'll be out for a couple of months kind of thing.
You'll be chest bumping with our new employee, our new coworker, Zach, pretty soon.
Virtually.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon's a good dude. I talked to him before. He's chill. Anything else on the Baylor game? Oh, one thing I do want to share. I think I mentioned this to one of our guests, but talking to Paul Mills, former Baylor assistant, you just totally brought up something that he touches on with his team, and it's maybe a Scott Drew thing, but Wichita State has blown a couple like 15, 16-point leads, and he says we start operating on the fringe, which is basically like we start playing like complete maniacs.
Yeah, we just get out of our game plan.
Yeah, and that's like, it is interesting. Like when you got these young guys who are just not accustomed to playing with each other, and you get a big lead and you try and change the pace or change the tempo, and it's like somebody pulled the plug out of the wall. It's just like, what do we do? What happens? And it gets pretty weird.
And part of that's probably, they were 0-3 in conference before that. And, if you're going to get an angry Scott Drew, he should be in the huddle saying, like, do not take your freaking foot off the pedal here. Like, just do not look at the clock. Like, let's not play the clock. Good teams will do that at the end of games, right? Shorten the game, possessions. But, like, don't even look at it. Just go. Just keep pushing and pounding. And that's probably what happened.
And I do want to say, like, we can all be prisoners of the moment this early in the season, and like a lot of stuff can change really fast. We are very early. You know, it's an 18-game schedule in the Big 12. Baylor has played 4 games now, so they're 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so much road ahead that it's nice. And oh, by the way, this is feeds into the Big 12 topic. I had West Virginia and Houston on this TV because I have West Virginia next Wednesday. And oh my gosh, Houston was up. I mean, it was like West Virginia had 5 points with like 5 minutes left in the first half. It was scary, man. I mean, you could tell they were so out of sorts. So that you give Baylor almost maybe a pass on that loss to Houston. They just might be that good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Houston's the class of this conference. I know they're the 3rd ranked team in the terms of the national rankings of the Big 12, but they're the class of this league, man. And I've heard many people say, including Rogue Media employee Matt Mosley, our colleague, say this is the most talented team that Kelvin has had at UH. And you just look at the roster and watch these guys. I think that's true. So that might be.
Yeah, Casey Flemings is so good.
Yeah.
Right? He's so good. And like, I never thought Emmanuel Sharp was like your go-to guy. He just doesn't – he never like grabbed me like that. Like, because I don't know that he can necessarily create his own shot. And, you know, I'm not Jay Billis, but I do notice things like that. And when you have a guy like Flemings and then he takes the pressure off Milos Uzan, who is still a little timid for a point guard, and like he's the guy you want to take over a game. Like, there's a reason he came back to college.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
right.
I'm just not crazy about him. All right, one more Big 12 point, Cam, and then we'll go to break. Kansas. I thought that they were terrific last night. Obviously, they were. And, you know, with a healthy Darren Peterson, there wasn't talk of like him leaving the game. They go ahead and they take down the best team in the Big 12 or the second best team, I guess. Iowa State, they were undefeated. So that's also a glimpse into once these teams start beating up on each other, things start to even out a little bit. And you know, I know Baylor fans are hoping and Kansas State fans tonight, like they can be a part of that evening out of the playing field. Like early in the year.
Yeah. Do we consider this upset last night, this Kansas over Iowa State? Are we gonna cross the Rubicon and call that a culture win?
No, dude. Who's calling it the culture win?
It's just, look, you can't play Kansas easy. I don't care who you are. I don't care where Kansas is at. Sometimes the ghosts give you a 20-point win. I'm sorry. Sometimes.
Well, look, dude, it was exactly 1 week ago where the same ghosts beat TCU. I mean, that's a tough place to play.
Maybe there's a good like discrepancy here. Maybe that's a ghost win.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I've seen some of those at Allen Fieldhouse against Baylor, not live, but there's been some ghost wins for KU. I can't even blame them for it. Like there are some ghosts hanging around there.
I truly believe, and I'm not.
Indoors had plenty of that.
I'm not. Don't like quote me on this or whatever. I know this is like being recorded and going out live, but I think that Kansas, with the NIL, certain advantages that Kansas used to have are gone. And that is, I mean, you can talk to people all the way back to Larry Brown. There was, you know, a little give and take going on there. That's going on now, but everybody else is in on that act. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's hollow grounds, and Bill Self's an amazing coach, and you know, you go to Kansas to play, and it's scary, and the reputation of the Jayhawks precede them to the arena. But you know, the playing field has kind of been leveled out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
after last night, do you think Baylor is a tournament team?
I got to see a couple more of those. And I do feel like it feels like a better team than I thought they were 2 days ago, because that was a good performance. That was a really good performance on the road. But you can say the first couple of games, oh, well, they played 2 top 10 teams at home, but you played 2 top 10 teams. Of course, you're going to get off to a rough start. But like, as you know, and everyone will tell you, That's every week here. Like that's every night in the Big 12. You're facing a team that is top 10 ranked or could be ranked. You know what I mean? Like you're faced. That's a night in, night out thing. And so you can beat up on the Oklahoma States and the Utahs and the, whomever, the Colorados. Of course, they didn't do that last year. Then, I don't think that's enough to get in. We'll see these teams that live on the fringe, right? The Baylor this year, the Kansas State this year. I don't know that there's quite enough for them to get there, especially with the respect now that the powers that be have for the SEC in basketball. That probably makes it a little bit tougher for those fringe teams. So I'm not ready to go there yet, Pete. Not ready to go there yet.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm looking at ESPN, and I have First Take on, and obviously there's no more Molly Kieran, but it does remind me a little bit of. I don't know what Molly Kieran's next act is, but ESPN's just a monster, and now Shea Cornette's up there, and it's like, I don't know. I haven't thought about Molly Kieran in a very long time. I know she did come through my mind when she was on First Take, and I think this could be another example of careful overplaying your hand. I don't know her next act. She could, take over the Tonight Show for Jimmy Fallon, and they could, go ahead and have 150 straight weeks of winning the late night wars. I don't even know that there are anymore. But right now, she's certainly, maybe that's where she wants to be, but she's not front and center anymore. You don't want to mess with a good thing, I always think. All right, the Pete Sousa Show is coming back. We're going to stick with some media stuff. And I'm going to tell you how the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones are affecting our postseason, even though they're not playing. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovaceks.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are presented by Slovacek. Of course, Cam Stewart back in the home office. Where I think he's like in I'm trying to think of a place like it. Salem. Are you up in Salem? No?
Sure. Pete, you've got a huge fan base, so I'm going to leave that open-ended.
I don't have a huge fan base.
You got some diehards. I'm just going to leave that open-ended. There's plenty of places I could be in this Commonwealth.
All right. Well, so all right, step aside, Cam. I'll call you back in a second because I do want you're a great media wars guy to talk with. First of all, speaking of media wars, I can't get my microphone to work correctly. It's like the bane of my Cam. What mic do you have, dude?
I'm back. I got a Samsung. I've got a Samsung Q2U microphone. Look, no free rides, but you did ask. This has been great to me because Pete, I have been in that spot, man, where everyone tells you this is a great microphone to have, and you can't it's just not working for you. This has been great for me. It's I could pull it off.
How much?
Honestly, it's like $60. I had paid like $150 for a different mic, and this one's better. So I think it was $50 or $60. Got it from Amazon. Easy.
You'll have to send that to me.
Can do.
Not the actual microphone, what it is. Send me your microphone, Cam. No. All right. So there's been a lot of scuttlebutt this week about announcers, broadcasters, and Tony Romo specifically, right? And I have read a ton, I've listened to a ton, and I watched the beginning of that game, the Jags and the Bills on Sunday. And look, I come to one conclusion. Okay, let me fix this camera. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm all over the place. I'm going to move this up just a tiny bit. There you go. So I believe that Tony Romo, this goes back to being an athlete and being a successful athlete. And I've heard it many times before, but I heard it most recently Rich Paul said it, LeBron's guy. And he said it in a derogatory fashion, talking about Ben Simmons. But, some people get to the mountaintop and they just want to climb right back down. And I think that Tony Romo, in his football career and in his broadcasting career, is a great example of that. Here's a guy, 1AA product, right? Clearly had the fire in his belly to do whatever it took to make an NFL roster, and then had God-given tools that allowed him, with the hard work and with the moxie. The guy's a sick athlete, and he's got great poise. I think some of that is just God-given. And then the more and more repetition you face, or the more repetition you have facing, whether it's a great defense or adversity or certain game situations, right, you continue to gain more experience, more confidence, and you get better and better. That's what we saw from Tony Romo. But the moment he started to even sniff the mountaintop, he came right back down. And I don't know, if you were to compare Tony Romo's numbers to other, even average quarterbacks, I think you'd be surprised as to how similar they are. And I think that the fact he played for the Dallas Cowboys, right? You get close enough to that magic. You rub shoulders with Jerry Jones and Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, and all of a sudden that dust hits you and you elevate to a whole nother orbit, right? Not in life, truly in life. Like you go to the front of the line at the club when you're in your 20s, you go to the best seat in the steakhouse in Dallas in your 30s, and in your 40s, or maybe still in your 30s, you get the best broadcasting job in television. And part of that is because Romo did a great job his first year, but a lot of that, and I'm not breaking any news to anybody, was, hey, this is a guy who just played in the NFL a year or two ago. He clearly is able to identify these defenses, these looks, and had great insight because he's 300 days removed from being in meeting rooms, picking apart these defenses and then trying to do it on the field. And you hear it, and I've heard it from good sources, really, that Tony Romo, his work ethic maybe leaves a little to be desired, which doesn't shock me, and it doesn't really upset me. You have to understand, Tony Romo, he probably does not approach that job with the same vigor he approached being quarterback of the Cowboys. And I think in the later stages of his career, I'm not saying the guy didn't compete his ass off, but I will say he probably wasn't the hardest working guy in the building. And you need your quarterback to be that guy if you're going to win a Super Bowl. You need your best player to be the hardest worker if you're going to reach that mountaintop and stick around, right? So this really isn't on Tony Romo, especially when you look at his TV career. CBS, his agent, whoever else, tapped him and said, hey, you said you wanted to be a broadcaster. We're going to put you in a position where you're going to be in the focal point of sports media, of broadcasting, Super Bowls, the whole deal. At the end of the day, people vote with their remote controls, and you can get 20-somethings on Twitter losing their minds, but it really doesn't matter. The ratings are still beyond amazing. And Tony Romo had a bad game. And so you could say, right, like, look, I know this profession. Jim Nantz, there was a guy, Small, I think is the kicker for the Jaguars. He kicked a field goal, and as Nantz says he's kicking the field goal, he mistakenly calls this guy Small Washington, right? Honestly, man, that's like, you don't ever want that to happen as a broadcaster, but like humanity shines through. And from Pat Summerall to Vern Lundquist to Dick Stockton to Al Michaels to Jim Nantz, that happens. And it happens over and over. Hopefully not all bunched up in the same season or week to week, but like those mistakes happen. But when you're in this hyperbolic chamber now with everybody climbing all over your partner, Tony Romo, now all of a sudden you get lumped in. People that are talking about, I saw people saying Jim Nantz. Jim Nantz will never be demoted off that number one team. He will retire, right? Or he will be the number one football voice at CBS. There is no other option. So you can forget about that. When you look at Romo, he's making hundreds of millions of dollars in an existing long-term deal. And okay, everybody's like J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, J.J. Watt is now officially the backup quarterback in town for CBS, right? Oh, let's go with that guy. How many people have actually watched an entire J.J. Watt game? Like, I haven't. I know he's great so far, but that's a whole nother level of exposure. At the end of the day, we get so excited, and I love talking about this stuff, but like the average person watching the NFL playoffs they don't care. They don't. And it's not like Romo kind of botched the Open, which again happens, but when it happens in a wild card playoff game, the first game on Sunday where literally the whole world is watching because football is that popular, people blow it out of proportion. And then Portnoy tweets about it, and then all of a sudden now everybody's sticking it to Tony Romo. Are there better analysts out there? Yeah. Troy Aikman and Chris Collinsworth. They run circles around this guy. And Aikman, just because he's intense And I don't know, I just have a man crush on Troy Aikman. He and Joe Buck, if it were up to me, we would clone them and they will call every game, right? But that's just not, we can't do that. Chris Collinsworth is second. And when you look at Chris Collinsworth now, remember, he oversees, or I don't know if he sold it and doesn't oversee it anymore, but the whole time he's been a color analyst pretty much, at least over the last decade or so, he's been running Pro Football Focus. That's like the Bible for football nerds. And anybody who wants to talk about football like me, and you want to make a comment about a player, you best look at Pro Football Focus before you get going, right? Because that is going to give you credibility. It's also going to give you guidance as to where you're going. So the Romo thing, again, the Cowboys have gotten us again. If Tony Romo had played for the New Orleans Saints, he wouldn't be in our lives. He'd be playing golf somewhere. He'd be living a great life. But he played for the Cowboys. So for whatever reason, we've anointed him, right, the king of the quarterback club and the number one analyst in all the land. At the end of the day, Tony Romo went on a double date with Matt Mosley. Like, how important can the guy be? Like, that's that. I always go back to that. Like, we went on a double date with Mosley. Either he's really humble or he might just be average. I think the second one could be the one we go with. All right, Cam, we got like 2 minutes. Hold on. We're going to save the Chuck Swirsky stuff, all right? Should we save it?
We can save it. I got it. It'll still be hot.
Okay. Let's do it real quick. I got to be done in like 6 minutes, but let's do this real quick. All right, so I'm going to set this up for you. When I was working in the NBA, the Toronto Raptors had a TV guy named Chuck Swirsky. And I remember Chuck did his radio show at the Charlotte Coliseum during a shoot-around. And in between, Chuck got up from the table in the Charlotte Coliseum and somebody stole his computer, right? Which was like the nerve. This is 2004, and he's running a radio show from his computer. So it had to be like a big deal or expensive. Somebody, we would assume, one of the workers at the Charlotte Coliseum just ripped it off, right? Hey, man, you leave stuff out long enough, it'll grow legs. Swirsky was so crazy about this computer that I either thought he's got stuff on there that makes him a felon, or he's really overdoing this whole thing. Like, your computer got ripped off. It was a lot. And as a PR guy for the team, he kept coming to me and my boss, BJ Evans, and was like, where's my computer? It was like, dude, we can't find it. We don't know. So that was kind of a pain in the ass. Then years later, a really good friend of mine ended up getting his job on Raptors television. And my really good friend was calling college football games for Fox. And my friend and myself noticed, my friend didn't, that Chuck Swirsky was tweeting negatively about my friend who took his job in Toronto about his ability to call college football games, like live during the game. And he was also taking shots at my friend's color analyst, a college football coach who I can promise has forgotten more about the game of football and life than Chuck Swirsky has, okay? So I had this idea, like maybe this Swirsky guy is kind of a jackwagon, you know? But I didn't really follow up on it. I've seen him many times since. He's now the Chicago Bulls radio guy. You know, you meet him, he's so nice, shakes your hand, whatever. But then yesterday on Twitter, okay, Silverman and Waddle, they have a radio show in Chicago. And I came across this clip. And I got to tell you, this guy put Chuck Swirsky in a body bag, and I want to play it for you right now. Cam, you got it? We got 2 clips. Let's play the first one.
Put him on the station. He is a guy that will shake your hand and stab you in the back. He is one of the worst people out there. And for Chuck Swirsky to think that anybody cares about what he thinks about Ben Johnson swearing in a victorious locker room, it's absolutely ridiculous. Chuck Swirsky is another guy who will never call out Jerry Reinsdorf. He will continually kiss his ass. He will he'd rather lose 60 games a year as the announcer of the Bulls than care about what Ben Johnson is doing with a win. That guy is awful. He's a bad dude, and he's not good at his job. I finally
let's get the second one, Cam.
He would shake my hand and stab me in the back. I've experienced it. I would see him at Bulls games is what he'd do, and then a day later he was going up to Jerry Reinsdorf showing what the mean tweets that people were saying about the Bulls. What a rat. What a bad person, and I hope you give him hell. I really do. There are not many people in this business that I don't like. I care about my relationships. That is one of the worst guys. My wife told me, do not address this. Do not bring this up. He doesn't deserve your time. I don't know how to fight without.
So I want to leave you with this one thing that Swirsky did, according to Silverman, who we just saw talking there. In 2009, when Chuck was back in Chicago, he had left the Raptors, and he's calling radio for the Bulls. A bunch of guys, a host of an afternoon drive show got canned, and Swirsky was right on the horn with the guy's boss, the general manager, saying, "Hey, you need to get me in his seat, and you need to get rid of the other two guys on the show right now." Okay, this is according to several people. You need me to take over that radio show, and then Bill Wennington, anybody that knows him from NBA circles, won a championship with the Bulls, played at St. John's, obviously, remember that. Wennington would go on that ESPN radio show to talk about the Bulls, because I think Wennington was either their TV analyst, or I think he worked with Chuck for a little while as a radio analyst. And Swirsky would call the station and complain, "Why are you having Bill Wennington on instead of me?" So this is like, you see it here, and I've heard all this stuff differently. So when I saw that guy who clearly has an axe to grind, right? But also I was like, wow, Swirsky just got annihilated, and maybe it's about time. I don't want to get too involved in this stuff because, again, I see Chuck Swirsky. He shakes my hand and whatever, but I'm sure he went the other way that day in 2004 and was saying all kinds of stuff about, actually, maybe I heard that. So maybe I've got some skin in the game too, that he was speaking awfully about me and my PR brethren there, BJ Evans, back in 2004. So, hey, sometimes you get yours. All right, the Pete Sousa Show. We've got Babe Laufenberg on tomorrow. Okay, we're previewing Indiana and Miami. Okay, and then on Friday, we got Don Bailey, Miami's radio analyst. Okay, by the way, Bailey was telling us, this is offline yesterday, that it is for real. Try getting tickets to the Orange Bowl. Oh my gosh. Like that championship game at Hard Rock Stadium. It's like $1,500 for like the lowest ticket. Cam, you had a question you want to ask me. Do you want to ask it now?
It's thought provoking, so we don't have to. It's kind of the hockey angle, but it's all sports. So you remember Sergei Fedorov, a great player for the Detroit Red Wings.
Didn't he marry a tennis player, Martina Hingis?
Maybe.
No,
before my time.
Okay.
They retired his number, and he'd been retired for like 15 years. They retired his number the other night. The
Red Wings.
Yeah, there was a little beef between the Red Wings front office and Fedorov, so they waited a while, and it brought up this thing that his number just wasn't in rotation for a while, and apparently one player tried to get it, and the equipment staff told him to F off. And there was another guy who played for the Islanders a few years ago, tried to wear number 66, and everyone gave him a ton of crap for it because that was Mario Lemieux's number, who did not play for the New York Islanders.
Yeah, what?
So I want to get your thought on that. Like, are there some numbers that, even though they aren't retired for your team, that are like untouchable? Like they were acting like it's disrespectful to wear this number.
I have a great point, and I'm not going to steal it from where I got it, but I heard it yesterday. I was listening to stuff that you and I could nerd out on forever, like. And we need to take some segments where you and I just talk about sports media and stuff like this because
yeah.
Chuck Swirsky and Bill Simmons were talking about today's youth and the way that
Chuck and Bill Simmons.
Chuck Cloisterman.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Chuck Cloisterman. Thank you. Chuck Cloisterman just wrote another book, and it's about football and just how it rules the day. But he also talked about how the love for football and the place it holds in our society today just might be fleeting. Like in 40 years, we're not going to look at football anywhere nearly like we do. And if you look at society and the way things change and turn over, like same as boxing, same as baseball, like this turns over. But he was talking about young kids that are huge football fans today that they don't even know who Randy Moss is. And so that Randy Moss was a guy who not only captured the hearts of like football guys, but also like had swagger. He spoke to inner city kids. He brought everybody to the table, right? And he's got that personality now that's carried him through life as an amazing contributor on ESPN as a host. Like Randy Moss had like cancer of some kind, and the whole nation was like in mourning. Like that's the same guy that you know, remember Straight Cash, homie. You know, how he's going to pay his fine. That's the guy who Joe Buck still like apologizes for it when he took a dump on the Packers.
That is a disgusting act.
Yeah, it's like, and Joe Buck's so awesome, man. It's like, I think we've just seen Joe Buck grow up before our eyes. He was like, yeah, I was probably taking myself a little too serious. But people don't know who Randy Moss is. So, and I think the hockey culture is different. I do, like, but some people don't know who Mario Lemieux is. Some people don't know who Sergei Fedorov is.
Yeah.
I mean, they maybe do, but maybe they don't know.
No, I get that.
What number he wore. Yeah, so I think that, like, that's just something we all have to accept and sort of understand. And I think me and you get humbled. When I hear that kids don't like Randy Moss or don't know who he is, I'm going to read you one more thing before we leave because it speaks to your point. I'm happy you brought this up.
This reminds me real quick of when Clint Frazier tried to wear number 7 with the Yankees. They were like, no, it's we can't do that.
Exactly.
Like these ones we're talking about weren't even retired. So as you look up your point here.
Here's a tweet. This guy Sam Block tweeted it. I love this, and it made me sad. Tomlin is gone. Harbaugh is gone. Carroll is gone. Belichick is gone. McCarthy is gone. Coughlin is gone. Parcells is gone. Dungy is gone. Arians is gone. Fisher is gone. Power is gone. Mike Shanahan is gone. Holmgren is gone. Lovey is gone. Your childhood is over.
Oh,
and that's true, dude. Like it's where has it gone? But that's what, dude. Like sands through the hourglass, baby.
I mean, say the old folks.
Yeah. So exactly, dude. All right, the Pete Sousa Show. We're back tomorrow with Babe Laufenberg. Cam, hell of a job. Brandon McGinnis, welcome to the party, brother. We'll be talking to you soon. Chris Visser, thank you so much at the home office in Orlando. Corey Dickman, you're the best. We'll be back tomorrow. We're presented by Slovakians. Take it easy, guys. Oh, yeah, watch the Kansas State game tonight on Peacock. Kansas State, UCF. My partner, Brendan Haywood, one of the best I've ever worked with, so you're going to enjoy it. Good game, great broadcast. See you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. Rogue Media Sports.